Uh, the Shiksaret. Okay, now so anyway, we're up to Daf Ayin Aleph. We're at the bottom of Ayin Amid Beis, the bottom, and we finished the Avodah of Yom Kippur, and now the going through the psukim and being misader, the psukim to see the order is not pashut. Now, one of the things we saw was it doesn't say anything about taking out a machta or a kaf. It doesn't say that. You go through the parsha. Okay, I'm gonna just read a little bit from the parsha. Vayom Hashem Moshe daber Aaron achicha v'yovim b'choles al kodesh mibeis al paroches al pnei kapores asher v'yimos kibonei ro al kapores. Bezos yovo Aaron el kodesh. With this, Aaron should come to the kodesh. Bepar ben bakal lachatas. Been there, done that. Took his par, right? Va'ayel la'oila did that. Eila right? Eila good. So this bad kodesh shilbas mechse biyavasoro avnei bad Yaakov mitzvahs bisa kodesh brachas manisoro umeis mesnel shnei sirim isol lechatas 2 sirim he took care of. Yeah, one inside like the Shem, one lazazel. Va'ayel echad la'oila and one ayel la'oilo. That's his. The ayel of Aaron and the ayel of Okay. So if the first thing he brings is his power. He does the Garelas, he does the Gairol, and the one who sends it out. We burn him outside. Okay, he goes through the parsha. And there's a pasuk here that just doesn't. It's pasuk of Gimel. It says, "V'nasa Aaron alavis avaynasam as eretz gezerah v'shilach esor ben bari." Sends the sail who bought Aaron alol moyed, and it doesn't say why. It doesn't say why. Who bought Aaron alol moyed, but it doesn't say why he comes in. We know why he comes in. He's coming in to get the kaf and the machta in the kachik kedoshim that he left there. Good, that he left there. And this is out of order. It's not in the right order. If you take a look at the sheet that's on the board, and I gave out, guys, yeah, you give it out. Yeah, no, I have enough sheets. So if you don't have the sheets, it's on the phone. You have more for Mordechai. Yeah. So take a look at what. Sezikis, Matt Martin says if you look at the top, let me see if I can make this bigger or it's going to be too big. Okay, it's too big. Maybe I can make this a little bigger. Perfect. Good. Tanra Banan, who bought Aaron alone Mayed. Good. Now we don't know why he came in. However, Shekola Parsha Kula Nemra Lasei the Chusmi Pasuk. This pasuk of Gimel is out of order. Why? Big day Zahav. He brought the Tamid Shel Shachar. Again, this is the Voda, what he did, and we're going to go through the whole thing, and then we're going to see the Gemara inside. So follow along the top, right after the black letters. He wore the big day Zahav. This is what the first thing he did. That means and then he brought the Tamid Shel Shachar. He brought the Ketairis in the morning. Chaviti with the Kohen Gadol. He did everything that he did on a regular day. Now. You switch to the big day Lavan, and he does the Avodah Sayoim. He did the par, he did the Seyev, he did the Ketairis, he did everything. Then he switches to the big day Zahav, good, and he brings Eloi ve'Eloam, and that's in Pasuk Chavtal and Chavhei, correct? Then it switches to the big day Lavan, and he brings out the Kafel Machta, good, that's Pasuk Chav Gimel. So it's out of order, guys. It's out of order. Chav Dalet, Chav Hey, he's doing the Eil Ve'Elam, right? And then he's in Big Day Lavan, so it's out of order. And then he finishes off the big days of Tamid Shel Ben Abayim. Good? Got it? So everything is in order. You could see on the side, Chav Beis, Chav Dalet, Chav Hey, Chav Gimel is out of order. Good? Now, this is what the Gemara says. Now, in other words, why do we know that it's out of order? Why do we have to stick this in there? Because if you don't, then you're only going to have 3 tefillos, guys, and 6, right? 3 tefillas and 6 kodesh magdish washing his hands from the kiyar in the kith and zahav. Good. And we have Allah Chomesh Misinai, 5 tefillas and 10 kiddushin. Each tefillah is accompanied with a kiddush for taking off the clothing and a kiddush to put on the clothing. But if you're going to only have 3 times 2 is 6. You need 5 to 2 is 10. The only way to accomplish this is to take the kaf and stick it in the middle. You need 5 changes. You need a zav, 4 changes. A zav, a lavan, a zav, a lavan, a zav. Good. Now, so you go back. If this is what would happen if it would be in order. Let's go. You have the big day zahav. You'd have the big day lavan, meaning if you did it in order, you do all the avodas hayom plus the machta without changing, guys, right? You see, look at the line. Avodas hayom v'hoitzos kaf machta. He would do all of this without the changing. Good? Okay, so now, very good. Now, Fred the Gemara Kasha. Maskul Reb Zeira. V'tilmud demafsik le b'sir nase b'chutz. Now, 1 second, guys. Maybe it is in order. Guys, maybe it is in order. But we know from yesterday's shir that there are more kabbanis written that are not in Pashas Achremos. There are kabbanis that are written in Pashas Pinchas. The Musafim, the Para Oila, the 7 Kfasim, the Ser Lechatas, and that's called the Ser Nase B'chutz. So why aren't we mafsik with the Ser Nase B'chutz? And then you'll have everything in order. Let's go through the Pesukim. Big day Zav with Tamishal Shachar. Big day Lovin will be Avodas Hayom, right? Then you put the Ser Nase B'chutz, guys, which is done on the 5th tefillah. Here we're doing it on the 3rd tefillah, right? With Big Day Zahav, good. There's your switch. Then Big Day Lovon Hoitzah Kafu Machta. Then Big Day Zahav, the Ela ve'Ela you'll do over there. Good. So now, what do you gain? That Pashas Achrimos is in order. Good. Amar Abaya says the Abaya Omar Kra the Yotza v'Oses Oylasai Ves Oylasa'am. He comes out from doing the Avodas Hayom. The Big Day Zav, what does he do? He does Eloi ve'Elam. He can't do it. That Chavdal Chafei have to be done right after Avodas Hayom. Guys, you see the Big Day Zav, the last one, the 5th. It says Eloi ve'Elam. That has to be done right after Avodas Hayom. That has to be done over here. So it can't be the series done there. That has to be done there. Once that's done there, already you're out of order because that's Chavdal Chafei. Guys, you see it? Look at the chart. It's beautiful. In other words, the Gemara's kasha is, let's put Parshas Bamidbar there and keep it in order. Says the Gemara, Chavdal Chafei have to be done right after Chav Beis. And then Al Karchi you have to say Chav Gimel is out of order. Good? So now the Gemara asks the kasha, is the whole Parsha now Nemar Ala Seda? For the Psukim, once it's out of order, guys, it's out of order. We're going to see. Once Chav Gimel's out of order, there are other things that are out of order. As the Gemara says right now, look, Tamid Shel Shachar is the Big Day Zav. Big Day Love when you're doing Avodas Hayom. You're doing the Shiluach HaSeir LaZazel, which is later on in Pasuk Havav. Burning the Paro, which is in Pasuk of Ches. That you're doing on the after the first the first tefillah. Big Day Zav is the first, the second tefillah. Then you're doing Big Day Zav, Eloi Elam. Then you're doing the Hoitzas Kaf. So the Gemara, guys, look at the order. So Chav Gimel is not the only thing out of order. Well, you have Chav Vav and Chav Ches ahead of Chav Dal and Chav Hey, right? Guys, you see it on the chart? So you know what the answer is? Once Chav Gimel is out of order, then afterwards also Chav Vav, Chav Ches could also be out of order. That's what it means. It's very geschmack. We have this all set up, right? Okay, wonderful. I think the Gemara now should go very, very nice, guys. It's a wonderful chart. And now, thank you, Yitzchak Mitnick, for his sefer in Yoni Diyoma. I got this from his sefer 7.5 years ago. So it's a very with this in mind, we can begin, and now we can go through the Gemara quite quickly, okay? Because you all know what's going on. It says Aaron comes into the oil mayed. Why does he come in? I'm on the bottom of Ayin Beis. Why is he coming in? To take out the kaf and the machta. He's to come in to take out the spoon and the machta that he left in there, right? Shekola parsha kula nemra ala seder. The whole parsha is written in order. Chutz mi pasuk zeh, with this exception. My timer, Amrav Chista. The reason why it's gemiru, we have a lachamash misinai. Chamesh tefillos v'asari kiddushin toivel kohen gadol umekadosh b'bayom. Because kohen gadol has to go to the mikveh 5 times, and he has to go and be magdish his hands and feet 10 times. I'm a Kesidron Ksiva, and if you're going to say it's written Kesidron, you're going to only have shalosh tefillos. Why? So you can have avodas hayoyim and the kafel machte done at the same time. There won't be a change over there. So you just have a zav, guys. Here's what you're going to have: one zav, one lavan, one zav. That's it. But now, by switching it around, you're going to have an extra zav in between, and then a lavan, and it's beautiful. Guys, good. Any questions? You clear? Okay, I think Baruch Hashem, right? Maskal Reb Zera, v'dilma mafsikle b'ser nasa b'chutz. Let's go to Pashas Pinchas. Keep it in order. We'll put, in other words, you need it. If the whole reason you're switching is to go ahead and get a big day zav in there to switch to a lavan, right? So go ahead. The ser nasa b'chutz that it mentions in Pashas Pinchas, put that in there. Keep the order. Now you'll have two more tefillas. You have a tefillah for the zav on that, and you'll have for the big day lavan. So very geschmack. And if you come on Rabbi Makra, the pasuk says v'yotzav asas elasoi. It says when he comes out after he does the avodah of Yom Kippur, the first thing he does oilasoi and oilasa and eloi ve'elam. So therefore, since he has to do eloi ve'elam right away, obviously it's going to be out of order. Miyitzir rishoina of it eloi ve'elam. Rav says Makra. The pasuk says upasha is big the abad. Shein tamid loima. Why do you have to tell me? It says upasha is big the abad shalovash, guys. Ashalovash klum adam poished elamash lovish. A person can't get undressed unless he's wearing something. Correct? Elamat tamid loima ashalovash shalovash kvar that he had been worn previously. So therefore, obviously, what Rashi says alma zui pshita shniya. He wore it previously, so it must be that he took it off a second time. But according to you, he didn't take it off a second time. Shema mina. There's a distinction where he went ahead, put the big day zav, and then he put the big day lavan on a second time. Maskav Rav Shila, the aim of the mafsikle beser nasa b'chutz. Says the Gemara, v'chol parsha kula nemra, right? The whole parsha, Maskav Rav Shila, the aim of the mafsikle beser nasa b'chutz. So we said that. Now, it says Veschela v'chatas yakdam izbecha, which is pasuk what, which is pasuk vav and chavches. Vespara chatas v'serachatas. That's pasuk right chaf hey and chav zayin. Ve'iloi anantan aroyas koyin gadol kshu koira ein aroy pavasar anisrafim. They didn't. You couldn't see the pavasar that are burnt. Ve'iloi murichatas pasach yimaktehei. It's mentioned first, but they're born later. So, and this is after what? After what? After pasuk Chav Gimel. So it says, "Eim chutz mi pasuk zeh ve'elach." After Chav Gimel and onwards, it's takav out of order. Okay, now, guys, this is an obvious question. Why do we go ahead and use a cut and paste job on the Torah? Why don't we use a cut and paste job on the Mishnah? You got the Torah Shebechsav, the Torah Shebalpeh. Primacy or primacy? Primacy? Where do we give primacy to? I'm asking. Okay, you're the only college educated guy. Did you go to college? Okay, so Doc, you're the only educated guy here. Your man went to medical school. Oh, Hesh went to Baruch. Primacy, right? No, primacy. Okay.
Primacy.
What college did you go to?
Sure, unfortunately.
Okay. Very good. Anyway, City College, School of Engineering. 130th and Convent Avenue. Yeah. Okay, anyway. So, l'chayra, guys, you have a gavaldige kasha. We did a cut and paste job on right. Why don't you just go ahead and say the Torah is right and the Mishnah is wrong, right? Says the Gemara, my chos is the mishabeshes or mishabes kroi shebesh masnisan. Go ahead and corrupt the Mishnah. Amar Rabbi Amakra. The pasuk says in pasuk Chavav it says v'hamishaleach, and in pasuk Chavches it says vasayrif. It says in pasuk Chavav pasuk Chavav v'hamishaleach es asoyer la'azazel yichabes begadav. And then it says, "Vasayir v'yisam yichabes begadav." Ma'amishaleach the meikara, just like Mishaleach took place first, I've Sayrif the meikara. The Sreifa took place first. Says the Gemara, Adarabba, Masoif the Hashta, Af Mishlech the Hashta, and the Gemara Mishalech the Mekar Mashma. Mashma took place before. So in other words, even the Torah is mashma that it's out of order. That the din of shlu, that the shluach that it mentions over here took place before. Okay. Rav Amakra, the pasuk says Yomad Chai. It says by the Shalech, it has to stand alive. Ad Masa Yezak Glamad Chai. At Shaska Para, it only has to stay there till the time you sprinkle the blood. The Amesai Shaska Para, that's B'Shas Mat and Damim. The Suloi, that was done right after the second change of clothing, right? The Suloi. It doesn't have to stand there anymore. Okay, now, so basically we finished the Hod Gemara. Okay, basically we finished the Hod Gemara, and now we're going back to the day. This is post Yom Kippur, guys. The day after Yom Kippur. You know that great feeling? Wake up the day after Yom Kippur. You got to think about getting your lulav esrog, putting up the sukkah. Those wonderful feelings. What? Okay. So some people overeat. I wonder who. It says Asi Mishaleach. And matzah b'shuk l'kohen gadol. The mishalech, he's going to go meet the kohen gadol. If he meets him in the street, Amaloi says to him, "Ishi kohen gadol, my master the kohen gadol, asinu shlichasacha. I did your shlichus. We did your shlichus." Mashma that he was this guy says Torah guys is the Ishi Iti, the guy who brought it to the midbar. He's a shliach of the klal or shliach of the is a b'nai shloim or of the kohen. Whereas the Avodah Yom Kippur is only done with Kohen Gadol, so is he acting as the shliach of Kohen Gadol? Well, no, he's a shliach for the, it's nothing to do with the Kohen Gadol. So from here, the Lashon Gemara is mashma is a shliach of the Kohen Gadol. He said, "I did your shlichus, your shlichus." In other words, by taking it to the midbar, I did your shlichus. Correct. Okay. So therefore,
no, I'm saying so. It's not clear to me that he's
again, anyone can do it, but the person anyone can be the shliach. Who is the mishaleach? So the question is, the mishaleach of the kohen gadol or not? So now,
He's the manager.
Again, but the question is whose job is the mishaleach over here? Who's the you're shlichus? You're doing the shlichus for somebody. Is it a din in the kohen gadol or is it not in the kohen gadol? Why? He's saying asinu shlichuscha. I did your shlichus. Mashma, you're the one that sent me, right? Matzah bebeisai. If he finds him in his house, and now he doesn't say I did your shlichus. Amaloi mechaya chayim, the one who gives life. Asinu shlichusai. Right? We did his shlichus. So now it's from HaKadosh Baruch Hu. So in other words, so the question is, why did he go ahead and why did he say that to the kohen? So very geshmak. Look at Rashi, guys. Matzah b'shuk, from the bottom, about 5 lines up. Matzah b'shuk, mechaber l'fnei abrias. He gives him covenant in front of the brios. V'oimeloi ishi kohen gadol. By saying ishi kohen gadol your shlichus, it's not. Of course, he was doing the shlichus of HaKadosh Baruch Hu, but in front of the people, again, he put his life on the line, literally. Right? He literally put his life on the line by doing this, and so he gave him covered gadol. Now, Mechaya Chai, and Rashi says, "Who HaKadosh Baruch Hu? Asinu shlichusay." HaKadosh Baruch Hu gives life. We did his shlichus. And now, back in the Gemara. Amar Rabba, ki miftri rabbanon mehadadi pumbedisa. When they would take leave of each other in pumbedisa, Ami Hachi, they said the following. The one who gives life should give you life, aruchim, long life, for toivim and mesukanim. So I saw in the Masifta, I forgot I saw b'shem that Torah's erech yomim, Torah gives us life, right? So they're taking leave now of the life of Torah. So they would go ahead and bless each other with life and parnasa, right? Because they're leaving now, right? So that's why they would go ahead and dafka now. Says, since we're discussing this, we'll digress a little bit. Hashem says Chaim, David davens, I should go in front of you, Kadosh Baruch Hu says Chaim. I'm Rabbi Yehuda. Now, what do you think Atzas Chaim is, right? You think, the base medrash, right? No, it's the Makom Shvakim. It's the marketplace, the supermarket. Actually says, Mifti Adadi, Shay Noitel Rishus Mechaber Lashal Beisai. Es Halech, Aidi the Ari B'Chaim Mesukanim Nakala. This is the place where a person can find food to eat. Since David was always running, he was on the run. He was davening. He was davening that he should always have a place to find. Literally food. He should find life. Very interesting. Gemara continues. Right. Amar Rabbi Yehuda. Ki arich yomim u'shleis chayim u'shalom yosif lecha v'chiyesh shanim shel chayim. They're years of life. V'yesh shanim she'ein shel chayim. They're not life. That you say ki arich yomim shanim chayim. If you're alive, right? So Amar Rabbi Elazar elu shenoisav shel adam hamishafachs alav meira l'toiva. Speaks about a person. It turns his life from bad to good. Rashi says misalech alav misha haya ani bialdusa is an ani when he's young. Benasa asher. And he becomes wealthier when he gets older. Right? One arba chashav kemes. One of them is what is an ani. Guys, arba chashav kemes. Ani mitzayra mishay noidbanim. What's the other one? I forget the other one. Suma, right? Suma. So very good, guys. So look, so you're an ani. You're considered shnais chayim. That's not life, right? And that got better. So Hashem should give you shnais chayim, right? It's considered life, even though physically you're alive. The pasuk says, "Aleichem ishim ekra," right? And this is the beginning of the parsha of Shnais Chaim. That's where we're bringing it in. Amar Berechia, Elu tamid chachamim shedoimil l'noshim. They're doimil to women. They're weak like women, and they're passive like women. They're not aggressive. V'yis gevur kanoshim, and they do gevur like kanoshim that they fight the Yetzer Hara. Amar Berechia, haroitzel l'nesach yain al gavi mizbeach. Somebody wants to go ahead and put wine in mizbeach. Yimalei groinim shel tamid chacham yayin. If you give wine to a Talmud Chacham, if you give wine to somebody, right, it's like you are going ahead and putting wine on the Mizbeach. Shnemar, Aleichem Ishim Ekra. So Ishim is like fire. If a person sees that Torah is stopped from his children, they're not Talmid Chachamim, Yisabas Talmud Chacham. Again, he can take another wife, marry a Bas Talmud Chacham. Shnemar, Im Yaskin Ba'aret Shroshay, if your root gets old in the ground, and the trunk dies on the base. What should you do? Mariach mayim. You should go ahead and smell mayim. And yifrach, that means Rashi says, "A mayim al Torah." The asa kotzer k'moy nata. You make a branch like a sapling. So it's according to it's two pshat. The one you should get married and have children from the second one, and you'll have Talmid Chacham. She's a bas Talmid Chacham, or this will be a schus that your other children will turn their lives around. The Kohen Gadol made a yontif. He came home, he made a yontif to his beloved. Tarabanan, Ma'aseh b'Kohen Gadol echad, sheyatz mibeis hamikdash, v'avi ozli kuli alma basrei. As it says, everyone accompanied him, and they made a whole big rash. Kivin the chayzinu l'shamayim v'avtalyan. Since all the people saw the great Talmidei Chachamim, the Gedolei Hador Shmai v'avtalyan, shavku l'didei. They left the Kohen Gadol. They went and accompanied them. Now we all know the Shmai Battalion. They were the Rebbe of Hillel, Shammai. They're from the earlier Zugais, but they were Gerim. They were Gerim. They came from several people. They came from Sancheiriv. I think Sancheiriv. Yeah, they came from Sancheiriv. Okay, so now the Kohen Gadol was not exactly happy with this. So what happened? The Soif Oslu Shami of Talia after the Kohen Gadol. They went to go ahead and accompany Kohen Gadol. So Malay said Yosem b'nei Ammon, those from the sons of nations, Shalom should be those of the nations, meaning it was a shtill shtach. You're from those of the nations. You were Gerim, right? So there should be Shalom with you. Anyway, Amulay, they said Yosem b'nei Ammon l'Shalom. Right, better that the b'nei Ammon should go to Shalom, the Avdin Uvda the Aaron, because they did the right thing. We know that, and the second bias guys, there was a political position. A lot of these people were not very fine fellows. We remember the Gemara on Daf Tes. We said how many died? Like there was crazy amount of in a 420-year period. There was over 300 Kahanim Gedolim, and they died. So Hastus, this guy Ken Zaini was not such much better than that. Especially if he got angry at Shmai Rav. So he told them better, at least the ones that keep the ones that come from other nations who keep the Torah better than a person who comes from the nation of Torah and doesn't keep the Torah. Okay, Mamashi finished, guys. That's it. That's quick chazara, guys. Let's go. Quick chazara. Come on. Okay, question and answer. Question and answer. I'll list the questions, and for your sake, I'll answer them. Now, says the Gemara. Let's start, guys. Okay. Great. Carbon, he does the avodah of the day, meaning he puts on, he's in the Beis HaParva, he goes to the mikvah, And after he goes to the mikvah, he puts on the big day zav, he does Kiddush Yadayim Raglayim, puts on the big day zav. And what does he do? He brings the Karban Tamid Shal Shachris, and he brings the Minchas Chavitin, and he does the Ketairis that's born every day on the Mizbeach HaZav. Normal Ketairis, right? He finishes that, he goes ahead, changes his clothing, and what does he do? Actually, it's not based on Prophet. This was a Sharamayim. This was on the Sharamayim, the other one is based on Prophet. So now he goes back, now he's wearing the big day zav, and big day lavan. Big day lavan, he does video on the par, goes ahead and does the gyro. Goes back and does the video on the par, and he shechs the par. Shechs the par. Gives the blood to a person. He's stirring it on the fourth revid. He goes up. He gets a machta, golden machla with gold, 3 kavim. Brings it down. Puts it down also on there on the revid. Goes to the base of Tinis. He gets a kaf of katayrus. How much is it? Depending on what his fist can hold. Right? We had Yishmael ben Pabi. His fists really held a lot. We saw that Pabi was married to Kimchitz, right? We said that one place we gave the name of the mother, and one place we gave the name of the father. He was a healthy fellow, this fellow. And he goes down, he takes in his left hand, he takes the Ketairis, and the right hand, he takes the Machta, because it's heavier, and he's got a long stem to help him. He goes inside the Kodesh Kodashim, right? He puts it down, he does this tremendous, one of the hardest things to do, one of the 3 hardest things to do was what? We had Malika, we had the Kamitza of the Machmas and Macheshes, and now he had to somehow go ahead, take that, put it in his palms, and the Chayfin, because of the Chayfin, and put it down. And he did it, put between the Badim, smoke came out, right? Comes out now, what does he do? He goes ahead, he takes the blood of the par, goes ahead, goes inside, sprinkles Achas Lamaila and 7 Lamata, correct? Achas, Shtayim. Goes back out, puts it down in a can, shechs the seir, takes the seir inside, does the same thing in Abadim, right? Once Lamaila and 7 Lamata. Goes, puts it back down, takes the par, goes in front of the Proiches, goes ahead and does 7 times, 8 times actually, one. Goes down, puts it down, takes the seir, same thing. Now, Machlokas, whether he mixed the dam of the seir or not, mixes the dam of seir, 4 kronis on the Mizbeach. Right, he goes this way, not to go ahead, not this way, not to get the shirt. Right, according to another opinion of Belaza, he didn't move because it's only an arm wide. Go ahead, clean a place in the Mizbeach, and he put 7 times on top of the Mizbeach. He would go and then take the blood and put the blood on the Mizbeach the Mizbeach Chitzon, on the western side, So he's finished everything. Now he comes, he's going to read what from Pashas Achremos. He's going to read Pashas Perek Zayin. When they're busy going ahead and being Matargim, he's going to go ahead quickly, be Goilo to Pashas Emor. Then he's going to close it up. He's going to say more than that's that I said is written here. You shouldn't think that there's something wrong with the Torah. He would go to Elaine Pashas Pinchas by heart. That he would learn by heart. Okay? Now he comes. He gets so now what's he doing? He changes his clothing. He brings Eloi, the Ela and he brings the Serenasa Bachutz, right? Well, I'm not sure. He brings Eloi the Ela and then he goes ahead. He does goes inside the Zav, does the Machta. He brings it out again. Then he comes out. He switches his clothing, puts on Big Day Zav. He does the Bein Abayim. According to Rabbi Loza, he does the Sayin Kfasim, right? According to Rabbi Kiva, he did it in the morning. According to you doing in the afternoon. Machlokes Rabbi Kiva did he 1 in the morning, 6 in the afternoon, or 6 in the morning, 1 in the afternoon, and he basically finishes up, changes his clothing, goes home, and that's basically what. Okay, we did the whole Masechta.
How many kabbalas?
43. How many total kabbalas? Maybe 15. 15. Let's say you have 10. Let's say you have 7 kvasim. 1 para oil is 8. 1 sir nasim chus is 9. You have the Ayla is 10. You have the Ela Aaron is 11. You have the Tumidim is 13. And then you had the Par and the Soya. So that total of 15. Think about it. It was a busy man. We really think about it. Everything had to be done by only Kohen Gadol in his fasting. And he stayed up the whole night, guys. He stayed up the whole night because you're worried about him becoming tamei. He stayed, right? Yeah, he slept well then. I got
I think sitting at the.
Mendy's sitting here and saying, I can't wait. Mendy, you never know. You know, they say that people who run away from covet runs after them. You ever heard that? Yeah. Yeah, I heard this. It's a very good shmaka of Chavetz Chaim. It says a person who runs after covet runs away from him. If a person runs away from covet runs after him. So what's the difference, right? What's the answer? When they die, when you stop running. Then it catches up to you. What? My brother? Oh, it's my brother. Anyway, Zalman, yeah, I've got to go well. Okay, says the Mishnah. Kohen Gadol, Mishamish b'shmoina kalim. A Kohen Gadol, he's Mishamish with 8 kalim. He wears 8 begadim. V'ahedyud ba'arba, and the hedyud wears 4. B'ksoines, with a shirt. U'michnasayim, the pants. U'mitznefes, the hat. V'avned, and the belt. Moiselo Kohen Gadol, Choshin, that's the breastplate. V'ephod, that's some type of thing tied to the ephod. U'me'il, a blue me'il, a blue robe. It sits, and the Nezer HaKodesh that was on his forehead. Be'elu nishalim b'urim b'tumim. These are the people who are able to ask the urim b'tumim. It's very funny. It doesn't say what the urim b'tumim is. We'll see that later in the Masech what the urim b'tumim is. Be'ein nishalim elu lemelech u'la'am bezdin u'misha tzibasar. Only 3 people can ask the urim b'tumim. We'll see that Allah is the urim bez Hashem. Only the melech, av bezdin, and misha tzibasar. More now is going to get into exactly the type of threads of the different begadim. Okay. Now keep in mind, we know that by the Avnate there's Tcheles for Agamon, right? Tcheles for Agamon, Shni Shalas, and Sheish. So those are what? Those are 4 ingredients. There are 4 ingredients. Says the Gemara. Tanrabanan. The Vorim Shenemar Behen Sheish, the begadim that says Sheish, Chutin, it's 6 Chutin Kafel Shisha. Then the Chutim are twisted 6. Mashazar, when it says Mashazar, Shmoina, it's twisted 8. Me'il, Shneim Asa is 12. Toroiches is Esem Ve'arba is 24. Choshen Ve'ephod Esem Shmoina, and now the Gemara will go through each one of them. So let's see what we have. Chutin is Kafel Shisha Minolon Domakra. It says Vayazes Hakatoina as Hakatoinais Sheish. They made the Katoina Sheish. Ves HaMitznefesh Sheish. Ves Pa'ori HaMikboy Sheish. Mitznefesh is what's worn by the Kohen Gadol. Pa'ori HaGvois is worn by the Kohen Hedyet. Ves HaMichnasei Habod Sheish. So you have bod, guys. Bod is also linen, and Sheish is linen. Mashazar. So you have Chamesh Kroy Ksibi. You have 5 times mentioned what? Linen. Chad Gufei, one to tell me that the kisna, and the have that's made of linen. The Chad Shei Chutin Kafel Shisha, that it should be going ahead twisted 6 times. The Chad Shei Shizurim, that it should be, I guess, braided. The Chad L'Shar Begadim, Shleinem Ben Sheish. And for other Begadim, it does say Sheish, we'll see that later. The Chad La'akif, and one is to be Ma'akif. Okay, let's see Rashi here. The Vorm Shneim Sheish, Kula Mefarish the command. The whole thing is going to be explained later on. Chutim Kafel Shisha, Shisha Kol Min V'Min Sheboy. 6 of each species. So which is a total of 24. Guys, if you have Tcheles, Agamon, Tzlashani, Sheish, and Bad, so you have 6. So that's how you get 24. 6 times 6 is going to be 24. Okay? And Mashazar is going to be Shmoina, Loy Sheish. If it says Sheish Mashazar, it's Sheish. If it says Mashazar without Sheish, and that's only by the Rimoinim, it's only by the pomegranates in the bottom of the Me'il. Then Shmoina. Then Kol Chut shall Kol Min Sheboy Kafel Shmoina. Each min will be twisted 8 times. You have Me'il Shekula Min Echad, Chute Kafel Yebez. The Me'il, guys, which is, it says Sheish, but it's only 2 species, so 6 times 6 is 12. That's no 6 plus 6 is 12. Excuse me, 6 plus 6 is 12. Next, Paroichis is Kute Chafel Chav Dalid Shekol Mini Sheba Kful in Yachad V'Kul Mefar Shel Kamon. Okay, so now Chamisha Kroik Sivi Gabi Adadi Avisagile Bechad V'Nichlim B'Seif. Just write it once and once in the end. So he said Vayasu Sakatonois Sheish Ves HaMitznefesh Sheish Ves Pari Mikboy Sheish Ves Mikvesli Bad Sheish Basar Ubaru Sheish. So that's the 5th one. Hari Chamisha Vahida Avneit Sorach Lemichtav Al Korchach Te'Egemine Achrina B'Hedei. Has other things written with it. Okay, so now that Shizurin is Yachad Kul and Sheish, Now, we'll see Be'ez Hashem later on. So right now we have, guys, we have sheish. It's got to be 6, meaning each strand you have is 6. So if you have a 6 and you have 4 ingredients, it's going to be a total of 24. So you have sheish is linen, tcheles is wool, and klashoni is probably also made of, I don't know what it's made out of, and argamon is probably dyed wool that's dyed. Okay, so 6 times 4 is 12, right? Right. So now, how's the mashma the sheish is linen? So Rabbi Yossi, Reb Chanina, Domakra, bad, dovar oiled min akarka bad. Bad means alone. Bad means alone. Bodoid, bad. So when linen grows, guys, it grows separately in separate stalks. Let's say it's wool and it's separate, strands of wool off the sheep. It says imra if sulei miftsala. Imra wool, it breaks apart, it branches apart. Kisna nami if sulei miftsal. Linen also branches apart. And for the Gemara, kisna agav lekuse miftsal. It's not natural that it branches apart. When you beat it, it branches apart. Mashenkin, the wool separates apart naturally. So memela bad means linen. Here's the proof that it's linen. It says in Yecheskel, Pa'ari pishtim yiyu al reisham, u'michlesei pishtim yiyu al masneim. So it says, we know that by the Migbois, guys, it said, the pasuk above. It says, look at the pasuk. Vayasu es ha'kosan sheish, ves ha'misnef sheish, ves pa'ari ha'migbois sheish. And here we have an explanation. Pari, you know what sheish is? Is pishtim. And we know pishtim is linen. So Yecheskel has a pasuk that's megala, the word pare migbois to mean pishtim. Pare migbois. So it means linen. So you don't have to come on to its natural state. You have a before pasuk in Yecheskel explaining the Torah. Fred go, Amalei Rav Ashi, Hamakami dasi Yecheskel man amra. Until Yecheskel came along, how'd you know? We had it around before Yecheskel, right? The Beis Hamikdash was around before Yecheskel. They asked Rav Ashi. Hodom Rav Chisda, Dovizem Mitoris Moshe Rabbeinu Loi Lamadnu, Midivei Yecheskel Ben Buzi Lamadnu, Kol Ben Nechar, Oral Leiv, Oral Basel, Layavei El Mikdash, Hamakami Das Yecheskel Man Omra. Guys, an oral Koyin is not allowed to Beis Hamikdash. An oral Ben Nechar, an oral is who is a Arla slave. He's a rebellious guy. He's not allowed. A Koyin is not a rebellious Koyin is not allowed into the Beis Hamikdash. How'd you know that? Until Yecheskel came along, right? You didn't know that? Ella, what do you have to say? Gemara Gemiri Lo, we had a Messiah on that. V'yasi Yecheskel v'asmachakra, and Yecheskel what found the pasuk Hachanami regarding that sheish is pishtim. Gemara Gemiri Lo, and v'yasi Yecheskel v'asmachakra, and the pasuk of peri pishtim. But we knew that it was pishtim. Okay, so that's now sheish it says 5 times, and that's how we know it's 6. Now Mashazar Shmoina means twisted 7 times when it's alone, and it's only in the Pamoinim. Rashi said, guys. If it says sheish mashazar, then it's 6. If it says mashazar alone, it's 8. And the only time you have mashazar alone is by the pamoinim on the mill, that you had the pomegranates in the bottom of the mill. Vayasu al shulei ha'me'il, here it is, and they put on the bottom, the hem of the me'il, rimoine techeles v'argamon with lashani. Now, what's 8 times 3? 24. Because you only have 3 ingredients over here, right? You have techeles, argamon, lashani. Mashazar, the Yolaf Mashazar, Mashazar Miproiches, Mala Halan Esrim Arba, Afkan Esrim Arba, Tavikol Chavachad, Tamne. That's Geschmack. Over here, 24 by what? By the 6 times 4. By the Proiches 24, we're going to learn, right? We have Messiah that the amount by the Me'il is the same as the Proiches, also 24. The only way to get 24 is that each strand of the 3 ingredients Chelis Argamon Shani is 3, must be 8 times 3 is 24. So therefore it's 8. Says more V'neilef Mechoshne Ve'efoid Malahalan Esum Shmeina Afkan Esum Shmeina. Now you're gonna have trouble getting 3 into 28, right? Okay, we're going to see that's a problem. Okay, but the Gemara's kasha is L'chayra. Learn from there that it's more than 8. Instead, because in 24 you need to get 8 into 3 into 28. Says when Dana Davish Leinema by Zav, we learn from the Proiches where it doesn't say Zav, Mi Davish Leinema by Zav, by Me'il where it doesn't say Zav, Mashenke in the Chaysh and the Ephai where it says Zav, we're not going to go ahead and learn from there. So again, I have my druthers. I'm learning out, guys, the Me'il from what? From the Proiches. Says the Gemara, want to learn out from the Chesed of Ephod, what would you do? Then instead of being 24, it'd be 28 strands. Says the Gemara, but 1 second. There it's gold, here it's not gold. Says the Gemara, Donim beged me beged, lafuki preiches dehoyalu. In other words, look at the purpose behind this. They're worn clothing. I would think that the Me'il has more in common with the Chesed of Ephod, which are worn by the Kohen, rather than the preiches, which is a curtain. Says, well, Eladonim may avnate. We learn that from the avnate, right? We learn from the avnate. V'donin beged v'davish le'nema by zahav. Mi beged v'davish le'nema by zahav. Ve'in donin davish le'nema by zahav. Mi davish le'nema by zahav. So in other words, so l'chayra, if you learn from the avnate, then Rashi says the yesh nami arba minim v'chalechad kafel shisha u'kishazur and yachad havel chavtalid. In other words, I learn at 24. I don't learn from the preiches, guys. I learn from the avnate. I need to get to the denomination of 24. Yes. So how do you do that? 8 times 3 or 6 times 4. Good, very good. So and over there it's an avnate, it's a beged, and it's not zahav, and it answers your question. Why learn from the preiches? I'll learn from there. Says the Gemara, Rabbi Yoma, different teretz. It says Vayasu Ashuli Amil Rabbi. It says Ta'asenu Ksiv. It says by the Choshen in the Ephod, it says Ta'asenu. What do you have a pasuk there? Ta'asenu by the Choshen of the Ephod. Does he quote a pasuk on the side? Okay, Ma'aseh Ephod Ta'asenu. Okay, new means it's a miyat. Meaning the way that's constructed of 28 is limited to the Choshen of Ephod, and it can't extend to the Me'il. Memela, that's why I know you don't learn that from the Me'il. I don't need a limit from a avnate in order to ascertain that it's 24 and not 28, because that 28 is Tasenu is limited to what? The Choshen of Ephod. So that different teretz. Vashi Yamav Asisuk Siv, it says Vasisuk Sheyukol Asiyosav Shavas. They all have to be equal. Vehechi never. How are you going to get 3 into 28? Never tilsa dasara asara havilu tilsin. If you're going to do 3 times 10, that's going to be 30. Never trade the tisha v'tisha. You could do 2 of what? Of 9, which would be what? 18. V'chad asara, which would be 10. Look at 28. Amakra v'yasisha sheyikol asiyos of shavos. That all you can't go ahead and possibly make some one way and some the other way. You can't make sums of 10s and some of 9s. Therefore, al must be 24 and not 28, because the denomination has to end up 8 times 3.
Thank you.